Hey y'all, welcome to the fill-in station. It's a new day, another opportunity to either make money in this market or to just learn from the market. But first, y'all, let me give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. But if you could please like, share, subscribe, y'all, because we learn and we grow together. With that being said, let's get started. So we are now looking at AMD. We closed at 169.73. Looks as if we got rejected here in this area of 170, 174, only to come back down to this 170.33 area to find support, right? We've bounced from, looks like we're trying to bounce from there right now. That 5 EMA could be a trouble place for us. So back to the upside, we will need to get back above that 170.69 area. Now, should we break that, y'all see that 20 EMA is right there at a level we have marked at that 170.89. Now, should we break that, possibly 171.38, and breaking that 171.74 area, should we break that area, 172.07, and should we break that 172.27, breaking that level today, we could possibly have trouble 172.72. And should we break that 173.11, those are possible areas of resistance for AMD today. Now, breaking this level here of 170.33, we could possibly come back to around 170 and find support, breaking that. Our 50 EMA as of now, 169.92. For those who use moving averages, that could be a support area for us, breaking that level, 169.54. And should we break that level, we can use the ATR trailing stop, which is around the 169.20, breaking that level, possibly 169.97. And should we break that level, 168.61, breaking that 168.61, the next level for AMD is around the 168.09. Breaking that 168.09 area, possibly 167.66. And should we break that 167.14, y'all see we came close to that around our 4 o'clock candle this morning. So that could be interesting, right? Are we going to make our way back to this area? Something stopped us here for a reason, right? So if you're trading AMD, I said often, y'all, trade carefully, mark your levels. Once it goes against your why, or your reason for getting in the trade, get out, live to trade another day, right? So we are now looking at Meta. We close at 727.05. As you can see, it looks like we've gotten rejected. We got rejected here at the 731.67 area. But it looks like we're kind of moving to the upside for Meta, not financial advice, right? So where are the trouble places? That 731 is a resistance area for us. Should we break that, we can use the 200 EMA on this 30-minute chart, 731.85, breaking that level. We could possibly have trouble 732.33, and should we break that level of 732.33, 733.06, 733.62, 734.34, and breaking that 735.43. Now, should we break that 735.43 area, we could possibly have trouble again, 736.22. So those are possible areas of resistance for Meta. Now, to the downside, let's say we break under this 5 EMA, because that's kind of like holding us up. That's like that riding the 5 type thing, right? So under the 730.68, we could possibly, I'm going to make a line here because something has held us up in this area here. So I'm going to say somewhere around the 729.82, which is kind of close to that 20 EMA. Back to the downside, if we break that level, 720.14, and breaking that, I'm going to fill in another space here. I'm going to say right here, something stopped us or held us up. This area, this kind of like here, this area here. So I need to remember that. Let's get that away. I need to remember that 728.54 area, breaking that. Y'all see that is kind of like close to where the ATR trailing stop is forming. So under the 728.54, we have 727.77 could be a support area, which is where our 50 EMA is. Now, breaking that for Meta today, let's see this area here around the 726.86. And should we break that 726.86, I need to mark that also, because something 726.86 somewhere around here, because something held us in this area here, 726. We're going to mark it here. No, let's just come here. So we're going to mark this level right here of the 726. Why? Because something kind of held us up in this area here. Now coming back to the downside, I was going to make that 726.86 area, which is kind of close to this area. So we're just marking some levels of support and resistance. So back to the downside, if we're breaking again under this 50 MA, 727.77, we could possibly find support 726.93 or 726.86. That 726 area, which puts that zone here, breaking that brings us back to 725.46, and breaking that, I'm going to say somewhere around this area, something held us up or stopped us at 724.49, around that area. Should we break that for Meta today, 723.81, and again here at 722.93, breaking that level, 722.15, and should we break that for Meta today, possibly 720.76. So if Meta is something that you trade today, I say it often, y'all, trade carefully and make sure you have a reason for getting in the trade, right? So we are now looking at NVDA. It seems as if we look, NVDA closed to 188.89, and as of now, where are the trouble places? We can continue making higher highs, right? So right now we just marked that resistance at around 190.02. Breaking that, we could possibly have trouble again at the 190.44, and breaking that again here at 191.05. Those are possible areas of resistance for NVIDIA as of right now. Now back to the downside, let's say we break under. I'm going to mark this level, and the reason why, look at where all of the body of the candles are here. So I'm going to mark this level here around the 189.28. Price was at this area for a reason, right? So back to the downside, if we break under this level 189.28, we could possibly find support again, 188.92. Breaking that 188.92, we can use that ATR trail and stop 188.37. Breaking that brings us back to around 187.37. 186.85, 186.23, and breaking that 186.03 is our 200 EMA as of now. Should we break that, possibly 185.60 and 185.16. Breaking that brings us back to around the 184.48 for NVIDIA today. Again, not financial advice. I say market levels. Make sure you have a plan before entering your trade, right? So NVIDIA could be interesting today. Let's say that. Let's look at the spot today just to see where we are. We closed at 669.22, and as you can see, we've made a pre-market high of 671.48. I need to mark that area. Why? Because something stopped us at that area there, right? So as of now, where are the trouble places? It seems like that ATR trail and stop 50 EMA, and we're under the 5 EMA, which, you know, we're still having trouble at that 670.35. We marked that, right? Price was in this area here before. So those are areas that we kind of had some trouble before. So back to the upside, 670.35. We can use that 20 EMA around the 670.57 area here. And should we break that, let's say 670.57, 670.83, and breaking that, we could possibly again just have trouble at the 671.48. So if we can continue, we can continue making higher highs, let's say that. So back to the downside, let's say we break under the 50 EMA here, and we could possibly find support again for the SPY at the 669.45 and breaking that 669.01. Should we break that level, possibly around the 667.97 and breaking that level 667.27. Should we break that, y'all see that is kind of where our 200 EMA is here, which is around the 666.96. That could be a support area for us. However, breaking that, we could very well come back to around 666.71 and at 666.30, breaking that 666.12, and should we break that 665.85 and breaking that level 666.46. So if this SPY is something that you trade, I said often, y'all, trade carefully, right? So we are now looking at Tesla, and I say it so often, y'all, Tesla does what Tesla does, right? We have just come off of a 479 high on yesterday down to the 436 low on yesterday. We closed at the 436. It looks like pre-market we have made a low. This was on yesterday. Yesterday we made a low of 435.57. So is this going to be our support area to take us back to the upside? We had that 436.19 area marked. So that is kind of like our support area. We bounced from there to go back to the upside, and y'all see that we had trouble at an area we knew we could possibly have trouble, which is that 445.02 area. The high of this candle here is 444.99. very close, right? I like to see that. Just simple supporting my resistance, in my opinion, right? So where are the trouble places for Tesla today? We would need to get back above this area, 443.78. Y'all see the 50 EMA is right at that 444.35 area, kind of like we knew we could possibly have trouble in that area, right? So breaking that brings us back to 445.02. Breaking that, we're going to use the ATR trailing stop today, 446.31. Should we break that level, 447.29, 448.87, 450.05, breaking that 450.05, 452.08. Those are possible areas of resistance for Tesla today. Now breaking that 452.08 level, we could possibly have trouble again at the 454.30. Those are possible areas of resistance. Now back to the downside. Let's say we break under this area here around 451.53. Y'all, I have this 440.41. I remember that because Tesla stayed in that area so many times before, right? So in my opinion, this 440.41 is could be a strong area of support. However, breaking that, y'all see price gathered in this area here around, let's say this here, 439.27. So that could be a support area for us. Breaking that, we could possibly find support 438.42. And should we break that, we could very well come back to around the 437.71 and find support again. I look at it on a smaller scale. Breaking that 437.71 area, the next area is back here at this 436.19 area, and breaking the 436.19 for Tesla, we could very well come back to 434.54, and again at 432.22. Breaking that 432.22 area, we could come back to 428.99. Now breaking this 429.99 area, the next key level that I have, and I say a key level because we held at this area here, 428.60. Those are the two, one of the two numbers that I remember for Tesla is that 428.60 and that 440.41. So those could be strong areas of support for Tesla. Again, not financial advice, y'all. I say it often, market levels, once it goes against your reason for getting in the trade, get out. What was interesting is I saw what I think is a bear flag on Tesla. And I could be very wrong. Let me say that. I did see a bear flag. If that's the case, we could very well go up, get rejected around that 446 and bring our way back to the downside, considering we've come off of a very strong high on yesterday, which is in this area here. So if Tesla is something that you trade, I said often, y'all trade carefully, market levels. Once it goes against your why, get out. Why? Because in this market, anything is possible. Let me say that, right? So hope that everyone have a very profitable and a very, very productive day today. Again, if you could please like, share, subscribe, y'all, because we learn and we grow together. With that being said, be blessed as well as a blessing unto others. Until next time.